Kelar had seen the galactic map many times before, but every time he looked at it, the same strange detail caught his attention. The map showed thousands of stars, trade routes, and the territories of many alien civilizations. Bright lines connected planets where ships traveled every day. The galaxy looked busy and alive. But at the far edge of the map, something felt wrong. The bright routes suddenly ended, the detailed star systems disappeared, and beyond that point there was only empty space on the screen. The area had a simple label written across it. Human space. No star systems were marked there, no colonies were shown, no travel routes crossed that border. It was just a wide, silent blank area, as if someone had decided to stop drawing the map at that exact line. Kelar leaned closer to the screen, studying it again. He was a young explorer from the Varine Alliance, curious and stubborn by nature. While other explorers loved safe trade routes and famous star systems, Kelar loved mysteries, and this was the biggest mystery in the entire galaxy. Why did the map stop at human territory? Millions of stars existed in the galaxy. The Union had explored most of them over thousands of years. Powerful fleets and advanced scanners had charted almost every region. Yet somehow, a huge area of space still remained empty on the map. And everyone seemed perfectly fine with that. Kelar remembered the first time he asked about it during academy training. His instructor had only looked at him for a moment before answering. Because no one goes there, and no one needs to. That answer had never satisfied him. Later he asked a transport captain during a long journey between colonies. The captain only laughed quietly and shook his head. "Kid, the map stops there for a reason. Smart pilots turn around before they reach that border." But no one ever explained what the reason actually was. The more Kelar asked, the stranger the answers became. Some captains simply refused to talk about it. Others changed the subject quickly, and a few older pilots looked almost uncomfortable when human territory was mentioned. That reaction only made Kelar more curious. One evening inside the station archives, he started searching through old exploration records, hoping to find the truth hidden somewhere in the data. What he discovered made the mystery even deeper. Long ago, many civilizations had tried to explore the region inside human space. The records showed dozens of missions over the centuries. But the results were always the same. Some ships returned early with damaged systems and silent crews. The explorers refused to describe what they had seen, even during official reports. Other ships came back with strange stories about powerful signals, unknown ships, and warnings that forced them to leave immediately. And some expeditions never returned at all. No wreckage was found, no distress signals were received. The ships simply vanished beyond the border. After many failed missions, the Galactic Union finally made a quiet decision. Human territory would be left alone. Trade with humans continued through special diplomatic channels, but exploration fleets were ordered to stay away from the region. Over time the decision became normal. New maps were printed with the same empty area, and the simple label that marked the border. Human space. Kelar stared at the archive screen, his mind racing with questions. Humans were not a mysterious species. They traded technology with other civilizations and sometimes visited Union stations. They looked calm, polite, and even friendly. Nothing about them seemed dangerous enough to scare an entire galaxy. So why did no one explore their territory? Why did the map stop there? The more Kelar thought about it, the more certain he became of one thing. The galaxy was hiding something, and he was going to find out the truth. Even if it meant flying straight into the blank space where the galactic map ended. Kelar did not forget what he had seen in the archives. For many nights he stared at the galactic map in his room, studying the blank area labeled human space. The empty region felt like a silent challenge waiting for someone brave enough to cross it. Most explorers would have ignored it, but Kelar was not like most explorers. The mystery kept growing in his mind. If many ships had tried to enter human territory before, then the truth had to be somewhere beyond that border. And if everyone was too afraid to go there, then someone had to be the first to try again. Soon Kelar made his decision. He would go to human space himself. The next morning he visited the docking bays of the exploration station. Hundreds of ships were preparing for trade missions, research flights, and cargo runs. But Kelar walked directly toward a smaller exploration vessel called the Silent Horizon. It was fast, modern, and equipped with advanced scanners, perfect for a long journey into unknown territory. Kelar gathered a small crew of skilled specialists, a navigation officer, a systems engineer, and 2 security pilots. They were curious enough to join the mission, even when they heard the destination. At first the crew thought the mission sounded exciting. Exploring unknown space was every explorer's dream. But when the destination appeared on the navigation screen, the room became very quiet. The blinking route line pointed directly toward the blank region of the map. Toward human space. The engineer slowly turned to Kelar. "You are serious about this mission," he said carefully. Kelar nodded calmly. "We will only observe and collect data. No conflict, no risks if we stay careful." The crew exchanged nervous looks, but curiosity was stronger than fear, and after a moment they agreed to continue. However, news of the mission spread quickly through the station. Other captains soon heard about Kelar's plan, and many of them were not happy about it. Late that evening an old veteran captain came to Kelar's ship. His name was Captain Rethan, a pilot who had traveled across the galaxy for over 200 years. His face showed the marks of many difficult journeys. He stepped inside the ship and looked at the navigation screen without saying a word. The route to human space was clearly visible. After a long silence he finally spoke. "You are making a mistake," Rethan said quietly. Kelar respected the old captain, but he did not change his mind. "With respect, Captain, no one has explained why this place is so feared," Kelar replied. "I only want the truth." Rethan slowly shook his head. "The truth is exactly why people stay away." The old captain walked closer and lowered his voice. "Many years ago my fleet traveled near that same border," he explained. "We were young explorers just like you, curious and confident. At first everything looked normal, the stars were quiet, and our scanners showed nothing unusual. But the moment we crossed the border, strange things started happening." Kelar listened carefully. "Our navigation systems began to fail," Rethan continued. "Our scanners filled with signals we could not understand. Hundreds of unknown objects appeared around us, but we could not see them with our eyes. Then every screen on every ship suddenly turned black." The old captain paused for a moment, remembering the moment clearly, and a single message appeared. Kelar leaned forward. "What did it say?" he asked. Rethan's voice became very quiet. It said, "You are entering protected space. Turn back now." The voice was calm, but powerful. It did not sound angry, but it sounded absolutely certain. "What did you do?" Kelar asked. "We turned around immediately," Rethan answered. "Every ship in the fleet left without asking questions." The old captain looked directly at Kelar. "I have faced pirates, wars, and cosmic storms," he said slowly, "but nothing in my life has ever felt more serious than that warning. Humans are always watching their territory." Kelar remained silent for a moment, thinking about the story. But curiosity still burned stronger than fear. "Maybe they were only protecting their borders," Kelar said.
Rethan sighed.
"Maybe," he replied, "but every explorer in this galaxy knows one rule. The map ends there for a reason." After the old captain left, Kelar stood alone on the command deck, looking again at the empty region ahead. A place filled with silence, rumors, and unanswered questions. Soon the engines of the silent horizon powered on, and the ship slowly began its journey toward the place where the galactic map ended. Toward the dark border of human space, rocket. The ship's silent horizon moved slowly through the quiet stars. Kelar stood on the command deck and watched the navigation screen carefully. The glowing route line was getting closer to the edge of the galactic map. Behind them were the busy trade routes of the galaxy. Bright signals from ships and stations filled the sensors. But ahead of them, everything looked different. The signals became fewer, the space became darker and more silent. Soon the navigation computer gave a soft warning sound. "Border region approaching," the calm voice of the system announced. Every member of the crew looked at the main screen. There it was. The invisible line where the galactic map stopped. Beyond that point was the empty region labeled human space. The engineer checked the scanners again. "Everything looks normal," he said slowly. "No ships, no stations, no signals." Kelar nodded, but something about the silence felt strange. "Move forward slowly," he ordered. The engines pushed the ship ahead, and the silent horizon crossed the border into the unknown region. For a few minutes nothing happened. The stars outside looked normal, The sensors showed empty space, and the ship continued flying quietly through the darkness. Some crew members even started to relax. Maybe the old stories were just rumors, the navigation officer said. But at that exact moment the scanner suddenly flashed red. The engineer quickly leaned over his console. "Captain, something just appeared," he said nervously. "What is it?" Kelar asked. The engineer stared at the screen in shock. I don't know," he replied. New signals began appearing across the scanner display. One signal became 10, 10 became hundreds. Within seconds, the entire screen was filled with unknown objects. The crew looked around in confusion. The view outside the windows still showed empty space. No ships, no structures, nothing visible at all. But the scanners told a different story. Thousands of objects were suddenly surrounding the silent horizon. Kelar felt his heart beat faster. "Can we identify them?" he asked. The engineer shook his head quickly. "No clear data, but their energy levels are massive." Suddenly, the navigation system stopped responding. The ship slowed down automatically, as if an invisible force had taken control of the engines. "What is happening?" one of the pilots asked. Before anyone could answer, every screen on the command deck suddenly went dark. The lights dimmed, and the room became very quiet. Then a single line of text appeared on the main display, glowing softly in white letters. "Unknown vessel detected." The crew froze in silence. A second line appeared under it. "You are entering protected space." Kelar slowly stepped closer to the screen. The final line appeared a moment later. "Identify yourself." The voice that followed was calm and clear. "Unknown vessel, this region is under human protection," the voice said. "Transmit your identity and purpose immediately." The crew exchanged nervous looks. The humans had been watching them the entire time. Kelar took a deep breath and activated the communication system. "This is the exploration vessel Silent Horizon," he said carefully. "We come in peace. We are explorers from the Galactic Union." For a few seconds there was only silence. Then the sensors suddenly changed again. The hidden objects around them began to appear on the external cameras. At first they looked like tiny shadows among the stars. But as the systems adjusted, the truth became clear. They were not asteroids. They were not satellites. They were defense platforms. Thousands of them, spread across the entire region like a massive hidden shield. Each one carried powerful weapons and advanced scanning systems far stronger than anything Kelar had ever seen. The crew stared in shock at the screens. This is impossible," the engineer whispered. Kelar finally understood something important. Human space had never been empty. It had been protected. The map was blank not because no one had explored it, but because humans had built the most powerful defense network in the entire galaxy. And every ship that tried to enter had been stopped before it could go any further. Suddenly a bright flash of light appeared ahead of the silent horizon. Out of the darkness, a group of large ships slowly emerged. Their shapes were smooth and powerful, their engines glowing with quiet energy. Human warships. They moved into position around Kelar's ship with calm precision. The same voice returned through the communication system. "Exploration vessel Silent Horizon, remain still," the human commander said. "You are now under human supervision." Kelar stared at the approaching fleet, realizing the truth at last. The reason the galaxy refused to explore human space was simple. Because humans had been guarding it the entire time. Rocket. The human warships surrounded the Silent Horizon quietly. They did not fire weapons, they did not act aggressively, but their presence alone showed incredible power. Each ship was large, smooth, and covered with technology the crew had never seen before. Their engines glowed with a soft blue light, and their scanners were so strong that Kelar's ship could feel the energy passing through its systems. The crew stood silently on the command deck, watching the ships move into perfect positions around them. "They could destroy us in seconds," the engineer whispered. Kelar knew he was right. A moment later a communication signal appeared again on the screen. A human officer appeared on the display. He looked calm and focused, wearing a dark uniform with a small silver symbol on the chest. His expression showed no anger, only control and confidence. "I am Commander Hale of the Human Defense Fleet," the officer said, His voice was steady and clear. "You have entered restricted territory. Explain your purpose." Kelar stepped forward slowly. "We are explorers from the Galactic Union," he replied. "We only came to understand why this region is closed to the galaxy." The human commander studied him for a moment. "You ignored the warnings," Hale said calmly. "Yes," Kelar admitted, "because no one would tell us the truth." For several seconds the human officer said nothing. Then he sighed quietly, as if he had heard this question many times before. "You are not the first explorer to ask this," Hale said. He touched a control panel beside him, and the main screen on Kelar's ship suddenly changed. A star map appeared on the display. At first it looked similar to the normal galactic map used by the Union, but then the map expanded farther outward, beyond the known regions of space. The crew leaned closer in surprise. The map showed an enormous dark area beyond human space, an area the Galactic Union had never explored. Hale began to explain. "Long ago, humans explored farther into the galaxy than most civilizations," he said. "Our deep exploration fleets traveled beyond the safe regions of space. At first we believed we were simply discovering new stars and empty systems. But then we discovered something else." The screen zoomed in on the dark region beyond human territory. Strange symbols appeared across the map, marking several locations in deep space. "Our explorers detected ancient signals," Hale continued, "signals older than any known civilization. Not natural signals," he added, "artificial ones." The crew felt a cold silence spread across the room. "What kind of signals?" Kelar asked quietly. Hale answered slowly. "Signals from something that is still sleeping." The screen changed again, showing an enormous structure floating near a distant star. The structure looked ancient and massive, far larger than any ship ever built by modern civilizations. "Our scientists believe these structures are part of an ancient machine network," Hale explained, "something powerful enough to destroy entire star systems if it wakes up." The engineer stared at the image in disbelief. "Why has the galaxy never heard about this?" he asked. "Because panic would destroy the Union faster than the threat itself," Hale replied. The human commander folded his arms and continued speaking. "When we discovered the danger, humanity made a decision. We would guard the region quietly." The screen zoomed back to show the massive defense network surrounding human space. "Every defense platform you saw is part of a shield designed to stop anyone from reaching those ancient machines," Hale said. "Humans protect this border so curious explorers do not accidentally activate something they cannot control." Kelar slowly understood the truth. Human space was not closed because humans feared the galaxy. It was closed because humans were protecting the galaxy. "You built this entire defense network alone?" Kelar asked in amazement. "Yes," Hale answered simply. "For centuries humanity has watched the darkness beyond this border." The commander looked directly at Kelar through the screen. "And now you understand why the map must remain empty. Because beyond human space, something ancient was still waiting in the dark rocket." Kelar stood on the command deck of the Silent Horizon, staring at the human fleet surrounding his ship. The truth he had discovered was more incredible than anything he had imagined. Humans were not mysterious because they were weak or secretive. They were mysterious because they were the strongest protectors in the galaxy. Commander Hale's calm voice continued through the communication system. "You now know why this border exists," he said. "Human space is not a place of danger to the galaxy, but a shield protecting it from an ancient threat beyond." Kelar felt a mix of relief and awe. The crew had been terrified at first, but now they understood. The humans they had feared were actually guardians, watching over the stars silently for centuries. Hale explained further. "For generations, humanity has observed the galaxy carefully, intervening only when absolutely necessary. The defense platforms you saw are just a small part of our protection." The screen shifted to show the distant dark region again. "Beyond our borders lie structures and devices far older than any known civilization," Hale said. "If activated, they could destroy entire planets, fleets, even stars." The crew of the Silent Horizon could hardly imagine such power. Kelar spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully. "So, humans risk everything to keep the galaxy safe, and that is why no one explores this region. Yes, Hale replied. We stay in the shadows. The galaxy thinks we are secretive, but in truth, we are watching, protecting, waiting. The crew looked at the defense platforms surrounding them, then at the empty dark space beyond. It was a silent promise, a warning, and a reassurance all at once. Kelar realized something important. For centuries, the galaxy had misunderstood humans. They feared the unknown, assumed humans were dangerous or arrogant. But the reality was far different. Humans were the shield against a threat no one else could face. Kelar felt a deep respect growing in his heart. Commander Hale, will other civilizations ever know the truth? He asked. Hale's expression remained calm. Some may learn, but most will not. Knowledge of this power would cause fear, panic, and chaos. Some mysteries must remain hidden for the safety of everyone. Kelar nodded, understanding the wisdom behind it. The human fleet began to slowly move away, opening a safe path for the silent horizon. You may return to your civilization, Hale said, but remember what you have seen here. The galaxy must never underestimate humans, and humans will always protect it. The silent horizon started its journey back toward mapped space. Kelar looked out at the stars, now understanding their silence. The galaxy beyond human space was still unknown and dangerous. But humanity was there, standing silently between the civilizations and the darkness. As the ship crossed the border back into familiar territory, Kelar realized something else. The galactic map would still end at human space, and no one would explore it freely, because some boundaries exist not out of fear, but out of protection. And at the far edge of human territory, the fleets were still watching, waiting, ready to face whatever lay in the darkness beyond. For the humans were not just explorers, not just warriors. They were the guardians of the galaxy, rocket,